You saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. Overdress is about to evolve to the next generation.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another Cardfight update, and today we have probably a relatively short episode because we don't have any new card skill reveals, but we do have some new information for the upcoming new set 4 Awakening Rarity, as we do have some specification for the card Rarity distribution, and we have some new artwork for some new units in that set. So let's take a look at the specification of the set, as we do see some interesting new details that we haven't really talked upon in a previous video. So for the Rarity split in this particular set, we see the usual 15 RR, 13 rares and 60 commons, but we do see the change of going from 10 RRs to 15, which basically takes up 5 slots of the commons, because if I remember correctly, the previous sets had 65 commons. Now this does bring an issue, because yes, this means higher rarity, so more chance for more powerful skills, thus having more chance of better support for clans or right lines that are a bit under supported, but at the same time, this also means that it's going to be harder to get playsets of actual RRs in one case. If the drop rate doesn't improve from this set onwards, if this is going to be the new norm, which I don't think is going to be the case, because this set is a little bit special, but we're going to get to that in a moment here. But the fact still stands, if this set doesn't have an increased drop rate of RRs, this might pose a problem for the set as a whole, as well as for the secondary market and for players trying to get a split, because this in itself will mean that you won't have two play sets of all the cards in one particular case. So clan splits or nation splits will be a bit more awkward in this particular set if they don't improve on the RR drop rate. But besides that, we also see the specification for the special parallels, and we do see two new DSRs. And I don't know if this was already confirmed, but now we know there are going to be two DSRs. My personal hunch is that this is going to be an Orfist and a Zorga DSR. And the reason why I think that is because we already got the 5 DSRs of the original right lines of the starter decks, and the only 2 other right lines that got a full art treatment straight from set 1 was Orfist and Zorga. They were the only one that got this special borderless high special SP treatment that got this entire framework, and that wasn't the case for any of the other right lines. So I assume it's going to be an Orfist and Zorga DSR, but don't flame me in the comments if it isn't the case and we see some other DSRs being printed in this set. Now, beyond that, we of course see the SPs and the Hollows, but we also see a new high rarity special, which is SSRs, and I don't think we have a name for them yet, what it actually means, so super special rares or something like that. And we see again 5 of those. Now, the thing is, we can actually already deduce what these 5 cards are going to be, as well as why we suddenly go from 10 RRs to 15 RRs. And both those changes have to do with 5 new cards being included in this set. And we got the artwork of these units, and they look pretty spicy. So we of course already knew the artwork for the new Verena, which is arguably gonna be a RR. I'm very confident that's gonna be the case. But as soon as this set was called Awakening Rarity, I already had a suspicion that we would get a new form of Nirvana, and that has now been confirmed with this artwork. So here we see of course the full art of the new Verena, but look at that unit. That is 100% a Nirvana. There's no way that that's not Nirvana. That's a new form of Nirvana, and I'm very curious of what this is going to be. But the exciting part about this is that Nirvana isn't alone. We also have a brand new Bruce and Bastion. And what they do and what they are, we have no clue. These are brand new units, so we see a new Nirvana, a new Bruce, and a new Bastion. But it isn't done just yet, because we also have a brand new Magnolia, as well as a brand new Seraph Snow. Now, interesting enough, Seraph Snow is looking pretty evil in this one, so I don't know if something is up here, as she's almost not as recognizable, but I'm very confident that is Seraph Snow. So the exciting part about this is basically this now means we're gonna get evolved forms of the original Right Line Great Freeze. Now, there is a lot of speculation that we can deduce from this, but we don't know anything. This is all that has been confirmed. We know that these 5 cards or these artworks are gonna be units in a new set in Awakening Chakravarti. Now, my hunch is they're all gonna be triple Rs, and this is the reason why we go from 10 triple Rs to 15 triple Rs, because we have to make room for these cards. And that's the reason why I think that set 5 and onwards are going to go back to the 10 triple R treatment, because we don't have to include new boss units of Right Line, unless they're also gonna give new boss units for the other Right Lines like Eugene, Hexa Orb, and etc, etc. We have to wait and see. Now, this also means that these are probably gonna be the SSRs, but how they're gonna look and what it's gonna mean, we don't know. Now, in terms of these boss units, you can say anything you want, but we don't know about the skills. My personal hunch is that these gonna be some type of cross-ride. I don't think they're gonna be the new Right Line Grade 3 that you're gonna put in your Right Line, and the reason why I think that is that they're probably gonna have a different name. And a lot of these Right Lines for the trial deck or the starter deck Right Line specifically ask that you write the specific grade 3, which means it doesn't interact with these new units. What I think these cards are is going to be a card you're going to run in your main deck, which you want to write on top of the original version. So you're going to write a new Nirvana on top of the old Nirvana, you're going to write the new Bastion on top of the old Bastion, etc, etc. Probably you're going to get some special skills by writing on top of that, but what I also think is going to be the case is that these new versions will probably activate Persona Write if you write on top of the old one, because they probably allow you to do that as soon as they're still the same unit. I think there's gonna be some special mechanic that allows you to do this, like a over Persona cross-writes-ish thing where you still get the cross-write as well as the Persona Write, etc, etc. And that also brings me to the speculation that these new units that we see are probably gonna be turn 4 boss units. And for most decks that doesn't change all too much, but I think the deck that probably is gonna benefit the most from this, and yes, don't go flaming in the comments, it's just the way how the mechanic works, is Bruce. Because Bruce is the turn 4 deck. So if you can write a new Bruce on top of the old Bruce, you're still going to have Final Rush because you were on Bruce that turn. But that does mean that if this new Bruce doesn't have the Soul Blast 5 reset your front row effect, you probably have to now say, do I want to have the multi-attack or do I want to have this new Bruce, whatever his skill is. Whereas most of the other cards like Nirvana and Bastion that are turn 3 can have that effect on turn 3, and then on turn 4 can have the new unit with their new effect. Which, now that I think about it, might actually be a nerf to Bruce. Because that means you're gonna lose a turn 4 effect as you're now gonna write into the new Bruce, which means the old Bruce is effectively just a vanilla card that doesn't really do anything anymore. Unless this new Bruce is something else. So I'm very curious what these cards are gonna bring to the table. We can literally be here all day speculating about these cards and what they mean, but we just don't know. This is all the information that we got, and we'll probably have to wait a little while before we see more information, because if I remember correctly, next week's live stream will mainly be talking about Zero and probably not anything about the actual TCG. Maybe we see a card here or two, but that's about it. Luckily, we have all these V-Clan collection reveals going on, so that keep us a little bit busy, but at the same time, tomorrow will be the last 2 clans that we see, so after tomorrow, that's gonna stop for a while. And as soon as we're in the middle of Shaman King reveals, so probably in terms of reveals, we will probably go on a slow burn for, I think, maybe 2-3-ish weeks before we start to ramp up again into the reveals of set 4 and preparing for V-Clan collection next year. So we probably can finally take a breather, but oh boy, do these things look super exciting, because I cannot wait to see what this new Nirvana is going to bring to the table. And of course, Magnolia looks stunning, Bruce looks amazing, Bastion looks cool, Seraph Snow looks mighty spicy. So we have to wait and see what these cards are going to bring to the table for the respective Right Line. But now I'm very curious if we're going to see a brand new Zorga, Eugene, Hexorb, as well as all the other Right Lines. This is pretty exciting, and I cannot wait till what the future brings. But with it said, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these new reveals. Are you excited for these new upgraded Right Line boss units? Let me know which specific units you're the most excited for, or if you play a different Right Line, are you excited for the prospect of that unit now getting an evolved form? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, this video has been brought to you by our lovely Patreons over patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or have things happening on the channel, you can simply go to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a patron today. But with that said, I've been Mr. Time Leap, and I see you guys in the next one!